Thursday, October 26th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. And now, a guy who's happy to work for a team willing to spend the money on logos for both sides of their helmets, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. We're on Tension XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. The Jaguars and the Steelers coming up Sunday, Acrisure Stadium at the Confluence in Pittsburgh, where the Jaguars historically have fared well. It's a physical matchup as always. Jaguars' health is a question mark this week. And we'll hear from the head coach, Doug Pederson, joining us at 5 o'clock on the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. We'll hear it from the horse's mouth and see what he has to say about the Jaguars' health coming out of the mini-bye week. Well, Jeff Lageman, good afternoon. What's up, man?
Good afternoon.
How was your mini-bye?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Are you refreshed, relaxed, ready for the other game?
I'll get even more refreshed during the bye week.
As will the players, right?
Yeah, look, I think as a player, it's always tough to play on a Thursday night, but then, of course, the added benefit, the other side of that, is that you get more rest prior to the next game. Now, you hope that they took advantage of that because the defense was on the field, I think, for about 87 snaps.
That's a lot.
And so I think, the weekend, I hope that they took the time to get off their feet, get treatment, get, rest, get massage therapy, whatever that every player uses to kind of get their body back and rejuvenated, because this is a big game, and it's a big game for a lot of reasons, but most importantly, you always want to go into the bye week with a win.
Sure, and, they're not scared again of talking about what the future could hold in the AFC and what this game could mean when it comes down to seeding time and, head-to-head matchups. They know what this is. It's an AFC team that's 4-2. The Steelers, yeah, they may not be the powerhouse of some other teams statistically, but they're 4-2, and 4-2 is what it is.
JP, they're the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the beginning part of that conversation. I think it's a little early to start talk about seeding and all that kind of stuff, because I think from a player standpoint, it's better to not think about a lot of that, even though it may be on the back of people's minds because, hey, look, you're like, yeah, hey, look, what's Kansas City doing? What's the other top teams in the AFC doing? But you can't have that mindset. I think the mindset has to be, look, let's just play this game and we'll let all of that stuff kind of take care of itself, because otherwise it's a distraction and it's attention that's getting put on something that really you can't control, because the only thing you can control is your performance and whether you're going to be able to try to win or try to lose. So I'm not a big fan of looking at that so much. But this is a big game for a lot of reasons, and most importantly because, when this franchise was born, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the measuring stick, and I was a part of that. And we always looked at the Pittsburgh Steelers as the team that we wanted to beat, because we felt that if you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best. And at that time, in the AFC Central, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the team to beat. And so I think there's a lot of history there. And a lot of these guys today probably don't realize it, but I can guarantee you one thing: the players of today understand the aura around the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Trevor Lawrence actually talked about it early this week and used that exact term. Sure. So even younger players understand what playing the Pittsburgh Steelers is like.
This franchise, at least in recent history, has fared well in games in Pittsburgh. Since the 99 season, including that year, the Jaguars have won 7 of the last 9 games they've played in Pittsburgh, including 2 playoff games. So now you take those good football teams have paired up against Pittsburgh when they've had good football teams in Jacksonville. So that's part of it. Good football travels even to Pittsburgh.
True. And look, the Jaguars, again, because of the way that this franchise was born, always had a little extra attention on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you go back to, and I remember this, the Monday Night Football game in Jacksonville where Chris Hudson gets the interception and Bill Cowher kind of throws the fake punch as he's going down the sideline. That was we split the games with the Pittsburgh Steelers going all the way back to the very first inaugural year, 1995. which was a big deal. And it seemed, I think, the first 4 years we split every game with this Pittsburgh Steelers organization, which was considered one of the best in the National Football League. And so we were trying to establish ourselves as one of the best with Tom Coughlin at the helm. So I think that mindset will always stay there. And there's a lot of history between these two teams. There's playoff history. There's regular season history. There's divisional history. It's a shame it was lost in the realignment, I think, in a lot of ways. But I'm looking forward to this game. You know, the weather conditions are a little, a little iffy.
Is that
That's
what
it.
Okay,
That's the iffy. That's the international sound for iffy.
Thank you. Good. I didn't know. Jags fans want customized Jaguars furniture for your home. Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair furniture for fans. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. We'll get to the Steelers coming up in just a little bit. All of their fairly new pieces on offense and defense with one of the best players in the National Football League and T.J. Watt. But let's start with this Jaguars offense trying to find full health. Walker Little and Zay Jones are the names that really pop up first glance on this offense that have not been available recently. So what do you think this week on those two?
Well, I would like to think that you can get both of these guys back. But here's the thing with all injured players. Mm-hmm. When you have a bye week sitting there the next week, in some cases I think you're more apt to be a little bit conservative because you sit there and you go, okay, look, if we can get through this week, and we got through last week without some guys, if we can get through this week, then player X, Y, and Z are going to get that extra time. And we know if they get that extra week, they're definitely going to be completely healed, as opposed to having to continue to nag, and maybe they're going to have a setback, and then all of a sudden maybe they go back on the injury list and miss some time. And so I think the bye week makes it a little bit more appealing to approach things on the conservative side. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, because I think a lot of decisions are going to be made based on, okay, can he play or can he not play? Mm-hmm. But I think that changes the mindset, and it's probably human nature more than anything else. In some cases, it's probably not even intentional. But I think you're just naturally a little bit more shy about being aggressive, knowing that you have that extra week sitting there as a possibility.
We'll get to the full injury report coming up whenever it comes out. It was around this time yesterday when it came out. In fact, exactly 24 hours to the minute yesterday. We'll see how soon it comes out today. We'll get to that coming up later in Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars defense logs. They found a way last week. You mentioned the 87 plays.
Took all 87 of them.
It certainly did, and it took a drop on the 86th play by the tight end to give him the 87th play and the fourth down stop. Either way,
yeah, but you know what, JP? 10 years from now, nobody's going to remember that drop.
No. Now, Foster Moreau will certainly remember that drop.
He's going to remember it.
He might be about the only one. But, hey, they found a way. They're fourth against the run. That's, to a man, that's what they say is the number one priority every single week because it sets up everything else they want to do. They want to plug up the run game, and they've done that this year. It sets up the takeaway game where they're number one in the NFL, 16 takeaways this year. So it's a defense finding a way week after week, even though they're out there for so long and giving up yards late and giving up 15-point lead. You know, they're finding a way.
Well, it's bully ball, and that's the term that the players have used. Andre Sisco used it a while back, and I think we've heard other players echo that same thing, and maybe that's part of the coach speak that Mike Caldwell, who's doing a fantastic job, maybe he uses that term. But the reality is that it's working right now for this defense. They're doing a really good job against the run, and I think it's helping them in a great fashion. And if you'll remember, JP, going all the way back to before the season started, we were talking about what can we expect to see from this defense and what do we expect it to look like. And I said at the time that I believe that this defense, if they're going to be good, they've got to be really good against the run, because I felt that they had some shortcomings in pass defense. And in order to give themselves the best opportunity as a pass defense, they needed to be jam up against the run. And right now that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been solid. And give a lot of credit to obviously Foye Oluokun, who is having a tremendous year. But Fatukasi has also been a big boost. And if you go back to last year, he was hurt. and he wasn't available. Well, this year he's a big part of what they're doing, which credit him because he came out of the preseason with that foot injury that he had sustained against the Detroit Lions in the joint practices. And then he's been back. He's been playing strong. He's been eating up 2 guys. And I don't think enough can be said for him. And he's in that kind of forgotten role. He's, one of them big pluggers on the inside, takes up 2 blocks a lot of times. And there's a reason why you can see 23 and 33 that are running around pretty quickly and doing a really good job. And so, I credit him. And, it looks like this team may have a chance of getting Devon Hamilton back this week or after the bye week.
He practiced full all last week leading into that Thursday game. He didn't play, of course, was not available. So we'll see what happens with him.
Look,
that could change everything too.
I think Roy Robertson Harris, Big Roy. I think Roy can take his game up another level. He's been really good at times, but I think he can get the consistency up a little bit better. And then you have Fadakasi, who has been a big boost with his availability and his performance this year. I also wanted to point out one other guy, Angelo Blackson. I think he's done a really good job.
And, he came in, it was late.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, and he's been around the league for a while. It's not like he's some rookie. He's been around for 9 years.
He's 9 years, and he's an Auburn guy. I know you're warm and fuzzy with those guys.
He was on the field for the kick 6, the classic play in the Iron
Bowl. Iron Bowl game.
That's right.
I think Adam Gotsis has got to play a little bit better than what he's been doing. But if you can get Devon Hamilton back, Smoot's been back, got his first sack, back from the Achilles injury. Congratulations to him. I think the jump that he took from the game before to last week was significant. So, all of those things are encouraging. But to get back to the original point, this team's got to continue to play bully ball for them to have a chance to win. The Pittsburgh Steelers are not great running the football, and I know that they've got a Roll Tide running back, okay, but I'm not very impressed by him. I think they're not a very good running team, and if you can negate that, put a lot of pressure on a very young quarterback, I think you got a great opportunity for success.
All right, we'll dig deeper into the Pittsburgh Steelers personnel coming up in just a moment. 4:30, Kai Stevens will join us in studio. We'll get her thoughts on the week that has happened around the Miller Electric Center heading into this Steelers matchup. 5 o'clock, it's the Doug Pederson Show. The head coach in studio with us. We'll pick his brain. We're going to ask the tough questions tonight, Boz,
you always do.
Of the head coach and get his mindset on this Week 8 matchup. The Jaguars and the Pittsburgh Steelers, a big matchup in the AFC. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. And it's Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
Have you noticed? It's raining a lot in our area lately. That means you can give your sprinklers a break and save some money in the process. Lawns only need water up to twice a week, and that can come from rain. So before you run your sprinklers, remember to watch the weather and wait to water. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Jaguars fans, Everbank is building its future on the partnership and the performance you know and trust. Take advantage of high-yield savings solutions with money market, online savings, CDs, and more. Visit everbank.com/Jaguars today for your financial advantage. Everbank, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You know what you expect in an airport hotel. A bed, a shuttle that's never on time, and if you're lucky, a day-old Danish on your way out the door. But at the Crowne Plaza Jacksonville Airport, you get a renovated lobby, restaurant, and bar, and 10,000 square feet of luxurious space for memorable family and business events. So stop by, stay a while, and expect to be surprised. Crowne Plaza Jacksonville Airport. Book online or call 1-877-2-CROWN. That's 1-877-227-6963.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Don't get sacked by a no-name propane rookie this football season, Jacksonville. Draft an all-star and switch to AmeriGas, the official propane provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the homes and businesses who know it was always the Jags. Show off your Duval pride at your next tailgate with a Jaguars grill tank from AmeriGas. To find an AmeriGas exchange location near you or to order a propane fill-up for your home or business, visit AmeriGas.com/Jacksonville-Jaguars or call 844-PRO-JAGS.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District, Florida's water. It's worth saving. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Jaguars Happy Hour on 1010XL AM, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Logs, you and I are on X at Logs56.
That's Twitter, right?
Formerly known as Twitter, yes. At JP Shadrick.
Yeah, we're on all those things.
We're on all that stuff.
YouTube TV?
YouTube, the official YouTube site,
okay.
not TV.
All right, cool. I didn't know if I could watch myself on YouTube TV. I got YouTube TV now.
Welcome to the 21st century, Logs. I'm excited for you.
You've already had it?
I've had it for a long time.
The great thing is about it is that you can get the Sunday NFL ticket on that.
Which you only need 2 weeks a year because you're working the other 15 Sundays.
Correct.
16 Sundays.
Yeah. But that's still a cool option
It's
to have.
very, yes.
I mean, if you were not working on Sundays,
correct,
would you not have the NFL ticket, Sunday ticket?
I would probably have some version of that, or just watch the Red Zone. Yeah,
Red Zone.
Right, it's pretty cool.
I don't like that jumping around stuff. I want to watch a game,
but then you're going to miss all the other games.
I'll watch the highlights later on
Well,
NFL
it's like
Network.
watching the highlights live on Red Zone.
You know the one thing I do miss. I will say this.
I can't wait for this.
And it was Chris Berman and the linebacker for the Broncos.
Tom Jackson.
Tom Jackson.
Yep.
I used to. Did you not
NFL
love that?
Prime time.
Wasn't that
right?
awesome?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
He does it with Booger McFarland now.
Who does, Chris?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
On ESPN?
I think it's on ESPN Plus, but they do a version of it. Yeah.
I mean, that was with that. That was with Tom Jackson. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought Tom Jackson, first of all, was fantastic. He had great opinion, great insight. Of course, Berman is fantastic. But I used to love watching those two guys on Monday night. That was my source of highlights. Now, I watch the NFL Network to get my highlights.
Good place to go.
Yeah, and of course, you don't. I mean, nowadays, you got a phone in your pocket. You can get highlights
go anywhere you want
instantly.
There's
in
an
fact,
app for that.
And there is an app for that.
Many apps.
But literally, you can go to YouTube now and just type in, like, for example, during the week, I'll watch the highlights of the previous game of the opponent that's coming up. Like, I watch the highlights from the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Rams game, and I'll watch the highlights before I delve into the film, just to get an idea of the tempo of the game and at what point of the game do you really want to focus on where the game-changing plays are made so you can watch them. It's a great way to do some prep.
It's the internet, man. It's amazing.
It's an amazing place.
It's just a fad, though. It's not.
It's that what do they call that? That internet interweb.
Yeah, great. All right, let's take a look at these Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's start with Kenny Pickett. I mean, the young quarterback. You know, the whole thing in the pre-draft process was the hand size. There's glove things going on in Pittsburgh these days. They're all about the gloves on his hands. So what's his deal? What's his story right now?
Well, if the only quarterback taken in the first round last year, right? I believe it was the only quarterback that was taken in last year's draft, which was surprising given the importance of the position. And at least I think that's the case. I like him as far as he seems to have command. He seems to command the huddle. He seems to play with confidence, but the performance is not there yet. But then again, if you were to go and look at Trevor Lawrence in year 2, it wasn't quite there yet. In the second year until about the midway point where things started to get better, correct? I mean, so I think it's a little bit early to have a decision made on Kenny Pickett, whether or not he's going to be a franchise guy or not. I like some things that he's doing. He makes some really nice throws this past game. And in some previous games this year, he did a really good job of bringing them back into the ball game and winning, which is a positive sign because it takes a lot of moxie to lead a team back when they're down, to lead them to victory late in ball games. So that part of it, I think he has a real strong point to his game. But consistently, I think there's still some things left to be desired. And I think he's got a really good wide receiver group. I mean, the two wide receivers that scare me are Deontay Johnson and George Pickens.
Johnson's been out a little bit. He's kind of getting back into it.
This past game, JP, he was really good.
Yeah.
And he got one huge play taken away from him because of it was a blindside block by Pickens on the film. And I'm going, Pickens, what are you doing? You know you can't do that. I mean, you just got to shield the guy. But he whacked one of the defensive backs of the L.A. Rams. I mean, whacked him. And I was like, you can't do that. But it took away, I think it was about a 30, 40-yard play or more that Deontay Johnson had. And that hurt the Pittsburgh Steelers tremendously. And Mike Tomlin actually talked about the penalties after that game and said that we need to start understanding the flow and the ebb of the game based on the way that the officials are calling it, because he felt like they were playing or calling it pretty closely in that ball game. And he said, when that's the case, we need to adjust and we need to make sure that we're playing clean. But those two receivers scare me more than anything. That young quarterback is still young.
Pickens is about 6'3", around 200 pounds. Really good in contested balls down the boundary on the sideline. Like he can go up and make plays and then get his feet down. He's that kind of player.
He has, and I saw that Doug Pederson's press conference. He said, I believe it was yesterday, he talked about the back shoulder throws to Pickens, the contested balls that you're referring to. And there was a couple of them in this past game. And George Pickens is so tall that even if it's a jump ball, even if the defender's playing a back shoulder throw, that Pickens can still make the play. And Pickens is excellent. I mean, you go from the numbers out, he's excellent. Okay, he starts to creep inside the numbers a little bit to the hash marks. Okay, JP, it gets a little loud in there. Okay, what I mean by a little bit loud is that there's some dudes that are in there, okay, that by the name of Kareem Jackson – to use his name to accentuate the one end of the spectrum, okay? But there's a level of physicality that exists between the numbers.
Those guys have bad intentions is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't get put it this way. Watching the film, Pickens' arm length decreases the more to the middle he goes.
What if there's a stat for that? Like analytics say, hey, his arms are 4 inches longer out in the hash marks than outside or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I can tell you that watching the film, and there's nothing wrong with this, okay? Some guys are meant to play outside. Some guys are meant for the middle, okay? One of the greatest Pittsburgh Steelers of all time was a guy that was fearless in the middle, the wide receiver.
They've had a bunch in the Hall of Fame.
No, I know. I'm not like recently.
Lynn Swann?
No. Not Stallworth either, so don't throw that name out. Gosh, what's his name? Physical blocker. Okay, was a great blocker. Come on.
No, Hines Ward.
Hines Ward, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was Hines Ward's area. Okay, well, that's not Pickens' area. He doesn't like to do that. Like I said, his arms, going across the middle, here's full extension, okay, and then all of a sudden you get them dinosaur arms.
Like alligator arms. Kinda.
It's like T-Rex arms.
Like the bill came at dinner, and he doesn't want to pay it.
Can't quite reach and get it.
Wow.
But Deontay Johnson is not scared. I'm not saying the other guy's scared. I'm just saying he's a little bit more courageous in the middle.
I think you just said he's scared.
Well,
You literally
JP,
just said that.
Okay, he's scared. I would be scared going in the middle.
You know,
With a guy like Cisco waiting on me.
Well, who should be going in the middle is a tight end. They don't have him.
That's why I like playing defense.
Well, yeah.
Because it wasn't a target.
You're the one making the contact, not taking it.
Correct.
But they don't have the tight end right now. That's
No,
the
they
guy
don't.
that should be going-
Freiermuth is on IR. He had you said a hamstring.
Yeah.
And he's been inactive. But the one tight end that they do have has a very famous last name, Hayward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Connor Hayward, which is he's the brother.
Ironhead's kid.
Okay, the brother of the guy on the other side of the ball, correct? Cam Hayward.
Yep.
Who is his window's open
He
now.
practiced yesterday or today, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he got his 21-day window, so he could play conceivably this game against the Jaguars. But Connor Hayward, I mean, he's listed as a fullback. Okay, you're calling him a tight end. Okay, but when you watch the guy on film, he's a fullback.
Yeah, he's bigger. He's a big.
Well, he's not tall.
That's right. And he's a Michigan State guy, if I remember right.
Yeah, he is a Michigan State guy.
That's right. So,
But he's not a big guy. He's not dynamic. He's not a great receiver. And I think that's what Pittsburgh is missing a little bit in their offense is that you don't have Freiermuth because I think Freiermuth is a big weapon for them.
Jaguars Happy Hour, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. Steelers defense. I mean, T.J. Watt is the first guy that stands out. He's right there near the top of the league in sacks. He's impactful. He's got his hands on the football all the time. He's a defensive player of the year at one point in his career and could be certainly again. But he's the one that really makes this thing go on defense. So how do you approach T.J. Watt?
Well, let's go to that line that you just said. He's what makes him go on defense. Let's go back to last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers because this was an interesting number. He had a pec injury last year, and he missed 7 games. Well, in those 7 games, the Pittsburgh Steelers only went 1-6 as a team. Okay, and also gave up 25.3 points per game. Well, when he played in 10 games, they were 8-2, and they only gave up 16.9 points per game.
So a touchdown.
So his performance presence is worth a touchdown a game, and the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah,
and that's a crazy number to think of statistically. But 85.5 career sacks. He's only in year 7. Which is insane. A couple years ago, he tied Michael Strahan's record, 22.5 sacks in a season. He constantly gets doubled and gets a lot of attention from multiple players on the offense, and I think he changes the way offensive coordinators call the game. The problem with him is that, okay, you put 2 guys on him. Now you're going to take somebody out of the route tree. Okay, so now you lower the choices for your quarterback. You lower the number of people that can spread a defense out. Well, there's another guy on the other side named Highsmith. And it's pretty doggone good, too, who, oh, by the way, I think last year he had like 14.5 sacks or something.
Wow.
Excellent player. And, by the way, they got a rookie that they drafted from Wisconsin, Herbig, Herbig. Okay, Nick Herbig, 4th-round pick out of Wisconsin. And I don't know what his numbers are. Maybe you can tell me how many sacks he has, but I can tell you this. Watching the film, the guy can play. And I'm talking he can play football. This guy is a good pass rusher. He is in the rotation with Highsmith and then also T.J. Watt, where those guys are getting blows or breaks. He's a really good pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers calling card has always been outside linebacker.
Yeah, so Nick Herbig has only played in 4 games this year. He's got 6 tackles, 1 sack, TFL.
Okay, I'm just telling you, watching
special
the film,
teams, couple tackles.
Watching the film on the guy, he can play.
Okay,
and so for the folks that are wondering, who Highsmith, where everybody knows what T.J. Watt, where's 90?
Yep.
Okay,
he's always on the defensive left over the right tackle.
not always.
They move him some.
Every now and again, they'll flip him over to the other side. And last week, this was interesting. Because Sean McVay was really trying to get a bead and double T.J. Watt, they were flip-flopping them.
Interesting.
And so, and I'm talking offense comes to the line of scrimmage, T.J. Watt and Highsmith flip-flop.
Okay.
As they're getting set. Okay, so they were trying to do that because they didn't want the Rams to be able to get a beat and double on T.J. Watt. And then also once they rotated in the rookie, they would put the rookie on the other side and let T.J. rush from the other side. So they're going to move them around. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a chess game. Okay, what is Press Taylor going to do? What is Doug Pederson going to do with T.J. Watt when he lines up on the side that he usually is? And will they try to check protection if he flip-flops like he did against the L.A. Rams? That's going to be interesting to watch. A little bit of a chess match there.
Plenty ahead. We're back in a moment. Kai Stevens joining us in studio, Jaguars reporter. Get her thoughts on the week that was for the Jaguars and the week ahead in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
Have you noticed? It's raining a lot in our area lately. That means you can give your sprinklers a break and save some money in the process. Lawns only need water up to twice a week, and that can come from rain. So before you run your sprinklers, remember to watch the weather and wait to water. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Cancer patients across the Southeast make Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center in Jacksonville their first choice for treatment. Dr. Jonathan Melquist explains why.
We have so many resources that can help a patient from the very onset, and we just have a degree of unity and cohesive care that is hard to match. It's especially with the tougher cancers that we really excel.
Appointments available now. Call 844-632-2278.
Hey, Jags fans, are you tired of roof leaks raining on your parade? Don't worry, Universal Roof and Contracting has got you covered. Their expert team of roofers will get your roof back in the game so you can focus on cheering on the Jags. Locally owned and operated, they've serviced Florida homeowners for over 30 years. Visit universalroof.com to schedule your free estimate today. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CVC 1258484.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District, Florida's water. It's worth saving. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, and Kai Stevens in studio. Doesn't know what to think about that intro.
We're saving water. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it is worth saving.
St. John's River is really pretty. I drive over the bridges, obviously, on the way home because everybody does. But I saw dolphins jumping out of the water, and I'm not from Florida, so that was very exciting for me. And I was like, oh, my God, there's dolphins jumping out of the water. It's very Florida moment.
They're everywhere. Yeah. We got manatees the right time of year that come through here, the whole deal. Yeah, it's pretty neat how literally you'll see all kinds of marine life in downtown Jacksonville at times. It's awesome. And some of it ends up on Lageman's boat. Imagine that.
Yeah, used to.
time.
Yeah. Now kayak.
That's right.
Yeah, a little big to handle.
I was going to say, what are you trying to pull up on a kayak? Because that might be
it's a
little different.
A little big to handle.
The outdoor show, Saturday morning, 7 a.m.
That's correct.
On 1010XL.
That's correct.
92.5. Hey, it's Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. The Jaguars and the Steelers coming up. Kai, they're coming off a mini bye week.
They are. And I feel like it was just enough of a break, right? Because, you don't want to take too much of a break because then you're going to be checked out, because it's a hard spot to be in, because we got three-ish days off because they were back on Monday, but then just one more game and then it's the real bye week. So I feel like it was just enough of a break to get people rested, but then to have them back in on Monday practicing and kind of get ready, and everybody seems pretty focused. They don't feel like they're checked out yet. So
it was really 2.5 days off.
Yeah, it's true. By the time we got back, that's fair. That's very fair.
I think I got home 4 o'clock in the morning.
I think we got here at 4, so it was late.
It's the business we've chosen, I suppose.
That's all right. I mean, look, it's I said this during the game broadcast. That defense and that football team played hard, and they played well, and that was an incredible performance. But I said this, that they need to have cold tub, cold beer, and have the weekend off and rest. Mm-hmm. And I hope they did, because that's the greatest. I mean, it's hard to play a short week. But if you treat the weekend and the time off that you have that ensues, I think you got a great opportunity to kind of get back on track. Like you were talking about, you want to have a break, but then you don't want to lose your edge, so to speak, because you're on a 4-game roll,
I feel like sometimes, and Jeff, you could probably speak to this better, but when you're away from work a little too long, and then by the time you come back, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Is that what bye week is like, or do you just...
You're dead on.
Is that what it's like?
Yeah.
You're finally getting into it. You're like, I could live this way every day, and then all of a sudden you have to go back.
This kayak is awesome.
Well, I mean, look, the players are human. I mean, they're just like everybody else. You get a day off, you're like, gosh, it sure would be nice to have, weekends off like this, all the time. But the reality is that that's not the job, and that's not the job description. So you go back to work. But it's nice to have that break, and also it gives you a little extra focus, because you have the break, but then you also are saying, look, I'm going to commit, and I'm all in this week, because I know the next week I got some time that I can really enjoy a mental break and also a physical break from it.
Kai Stevens with us in studio. Jaguars Happy Hour. The quarterback storyline last week dominated the headlines going into the game in the Superdome. And then during the game in the Superdome, he ended up as the leading rusher for the Jaguars on a brace. He said he's going to continue to wear it, and that's what it's going to be. He's going to be out there and fight through this thing.
Gosh, if you didn't appreciate Trevor Lawrence before that game, you have to after that game. For him to, play through injury, that's inspiring to his teammates. I mean, we've heard from all of them saying, if Trevor's out there doing that and playing well while doing it, that motivates people. Foye was like, I saw him doing all this running around. He's like, I got to step my game up. So that inspires your teammates to see that. Also, you look across the sideline, you see Derek Carr having a meltdown over there, and you're like, geez, that could be what we were dealing with. So I don't think anybody appreciated him, but when you see stuff like that, you're like, things could be much worse.
One of my favorites was on Instagram. There was they had, I guess Trayvon was mic'd up. Somebody was mic'd up. Yeah,
that's the best part of mic'd up. Oh, funny story. That almost got left out of mic'd up. I helped save that, by the way.
Which was that?
So Trayvon is mic'd up for we do a mic'd up player every week, and we had him mic'd up last week.
I watched it all, but I didn't see
He was right up on Derek Carr when Derek Carr started lighting up Chris Olave and was like, what are you doing? Run. And it's like this just... You hear it, and then Trayvon's in the background like, hey, Derek, wasn't there. There was none there.
It's good stuff. Look, what you brought up about Trevor is dead on. And what Foye said about Trevor is dead on. I thought the biggest play in the ball game was the first scramble that Trevor had, because it sent a message. It sent a message to your coaches. It sent a message to your teammates, and it sent a message to your opponent. I'm here. I'm healthy enough, and I'm going to play ball. Let's go, boys. Because reality, think about it. What did we all think when we saw Trevor run?
No, don't do it.
Don't get hit.
Don't do it.
And he slid too, and I was like, oh.
But when we saw him take off, we were like, that's impressive. That's toughness.
And he cut on it too. It wasn't like
yeah. And so everybody else sees that's on the team, and they're sitting there, oh yeah, here we go.
Yep.
Let's go. And so when the quarterback shows that he's all in by actions, I think spurs people on to have a better performance because they know he's gutting it out. They know he's tough. Okay, but I loved how after the game, and I wanted to bring this up this week because I'm definitely going to do it right now so I don't forget. Mm-hmm. I love how Trevor was asked the question after the game about the knee and about fighting through it, and Trevor wanted to deflect and say, look, this is a tough game, this is a tough sport, and I don't want to talk about my knee because everybody's fighting through something. And he's dead on, but I thought that just shows you, I think, the level of leadership that he has in two ways. One, the performance, one, showing that he can run. He was a leading rusher in that game. That was a career-high rushing yards for him on a knee that was in a brace, that was not feeling 100%. But then after the game, the leadership doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. When he makes something like that and a comment like that, and the players see that, that's what leaders do.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jaguars. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on 1010XL 92.5 FM. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Kai Stevens. Jags defense, 87 plays. Logs, you and I talked about it, but Kai, this performance, I mean, they had a lead. They had a pick six. To get that 15-point lead, gave it up. They're running out of gas, but they got the fourth down stop. Montaric Brown played big in a big moment in his first start, and that was a question mark going into that game last Thursday as well. How is this going to hold up? Tavon Campbell's up off the practice squad, break glass in case of emergency. They didn't have to, and Montaric played big in that game for the Jags, and this defense just keeps doing it week after week. They stop the run, they take the ball away, and they find a way.
And it was a little bit of a bend, not break there at the end, but they got it done. And I think what's cool at this point, and I talked a little bit about this on Jags AM, is they're at a point now where when they draft people or they have people coming in, they can kind of get them to where they want them to be on either the practice squad or as a backup. And then when someone goes down, that person's ready to go in. It's not, yes, he's never started before, but he to have that mentality when someone's picking on you and throwing your way every single time, you have to have a mentality like Montaric Brown had, where he's like, I'm gonna figure this out, because that can easily break somebody if you let one thing go by you. But the nature of that position and playing behind the people he plays behind and working with the people that he works with, it was clear that he was prepared for that moment. There's other times when people get thrown in, you're like, this is gonna be a long day, and it could have been a long day. They threw at him all. I'm sure it felt that way for him, but then to come up as big as he did in the end of that game, it's huge.
Yeah, that was big play now.
Yeah.
Wasn't exactly the best thrown ball.
Correct.
Okay, by Derek Carr.
You can't control that part. You can just knock it down.
So that's why Derek Carr needs to live in a glass house and just kind of shut up a little bit to his teammates. But I will say this. The Jaguars protected Montaric Brown a little bit too now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to make sure we give some credit to the coaching staff, because when you have a young player like that that's playing in a game that's going against a Michael Thomas and an Olave, you got to give him some help. And I thought they did. They put the safety over the top a little bit to help him out, which was wise. But at the end, you can't help him. Okay, you're kind of out on an island. You got to make the plays, and he made the plays. But what enables them to provide some help in that situation to Montaric Brown? Your other corner's playing lights out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Darius Williams is playing lights out. I mean, I'm telling you, last year I thought at times that he was not very good. This year, he's the best corner on this roster right now. He's playing at a level that's better than Tyson Campbell, and I hope Tyson Campbell gets back, and then now you got two really good corners. But give credit to Darius Williams. I mean, okay, you had the 3 interceptions in 3 games. Okay, great. That pass defense that he knocked up into the air for Foye to intercept was an outstanding play. He's been physical. He's got the most pass defense in the league, and give him some credit, too, with the success of Montaric Brown.
I'm writing that down. I'm giving credit to Darius Williams.
Yes. He's been a stud, man.
Yes, he's been really good.
He's been a stud. I mean, look, do you guys look at PFF? Pro Football Focus grades. Okay, I look at it because I think it's not the ultimate grading scale. Okay, but I think it's a tool, and it's something that you can look at that you can say, okay, it's somebody else's opinion, and you can argue the fact that it's accurate or not. But at least you can present it that it's somebody else's opinion. He's the third highest rated corner on PFF's scale if you take that everybody's got to play 20% minimum snaps. That's impressive. And the reason I bring that up is the last time that the Jaguars had corners that were ranked that high. Okay, let's go back to 2017 when Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye were like 1 and 2 on PFF's rankings. I mean, tremendous. So I'm just trying to throw a little love towards Darius Williams because I might have thrown him a little shade last year. Is shade bad?
Shade's bad, yeah.
Okay,
that was correct
sure
context.
I got all
You
that
did great.
Way to go, Logs. You didn't have to Google it or anything.
I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't Google it. I see it's hands-free. I didn't touch anything.
How good are these Steelers, Kai?
Hard to tell. They are a little bit identity crisis from what I've seen, at least. It's because it's similar to us in the sense where they have young quarterback. They haven't quite gotten to where they can be with their offense, obviously at a lesser level. I think the Jaguars offense can be much better than the Pittsburgh offense. And then they rely a lot on their defense and their pass rush there. They are high in turnovers, forcing turnovers as well. Not as high as the Jaguars, but high up there. And I think they're trying to figure out who they are. Mike Tomlin had a nice little rant in his press conference earlier in the week about he thinks having an identity is dumb because then that just tells the other team what they need to stop. So he doesn't want to be any particular kind of team. He just wants to be better at a little bit of everything. So
he's got some great lines.
I loved it. I enjoy him.
I love it.
I could listen to it. Was like 45 minutes long, and it was great. So many sounds.
Sometimes when never say never, but never.
He always has. I mean, some kind. I mean, where you can create into some kind of meme, right?
Yes,
I mean, it's
some kind of ism or like saying.
So funny
yeah.
sometimes.
Love it.
I don't know what's more entertaining: the unexpected or expected staleness of a Bill Belichick press conference when a question is asked, then he just sits there and doesn't say anything for about 5 seconds.
It's impressive how awkward he can make it.
It's impressive.
Because like to keep a straight face and like make it that weird in a room.
I just chuckle when I watch his press conferences, and then Mike Tomlin is flat out entertainment at times because he's almost like this caricature that has this ability to be a classic ball coach with classic ball coach sayings. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and then they go out and perform well, too.
Well,
they win games, you know.
Doug Pederson said it early in the week, and he was dead on, and that Mike Tomlin does a great job with messaging. And you can't be a coach for 17 years and never have a losing season without having a great messaging system. And Mike Tomlin is one of the best.
Jaguars All Access Television tonight at String Sports Brewery. Kai, who we got?
Evan Ingram is going to be back with us this week.
Oh, it's always a good one. Evan's great.
He is great. He loves to see the fans in person, and he's just such a good guy. So that'll be fun. Definitely come check it out.
That first catch that he had in New Orleans,
I know,
it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just
Yep.
I can't remember the body contortion.
Can your shoulder go that high after all these surgeries?
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, it can't. It was just crazy. And then somehow he turned it up. I mean,
that's what he does.
He so consistent, so professional, and one of the hardest working guys I've ever seen in practice. And I've been watching a lot of them for a long time.
Tight end Evan Ingram tonight at String Sports Brewery, 7 o'clock on Fox 30, yes.
And don't forget Martineau.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
Brent.
He'll sign autographs after, too.
Oh, Brent's got his own line? Wow. Get all the autographs you can. Jeff Lageman.
Correct.
He'll sign. Kai, you're going to sign some, too? Everybody's available.
Everyone's there.
We'll see you later, Kai.
Thanks, guys.
Kai Stevens joining us in studio. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. Up next, the injury report. It has been announced for Thursday. We'll get to it after this on Jaguars Happy Hour.
Have you noticed? It's raining a lot in our area lately. That means you can give your sprinklers a break and save some money in the process. Lawns only need water up to twice a week, and that can come from rain. So before you run your sprinklers, remember to watch the weather and wait to water. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Unlock your potential at the University of North Florida. A top public university with more than 100 majors, UNF is #1 among state schools with the highest percentage of graduates employed in Florida. Affordable tuition, programs in high-demand fields, and faculty who care. Swoop into your future at UNF. Visit unf.edu to learn more.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguars sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguars sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Ever wish you could make your Mondays go a little smoother? Here's a pro tip. Order online to dodge the line and kick off your week with free Coffee Mondays. Every Monday through October 30th, Dunkin' Rewards members can get a free medium hot or iced coffee with any purchase. And you get to earn points to spend on even more free Dunkin'. Not a member? Join Dunkin' Rewards on the app and get even more Dunkin' deals. Nothing beats Dunkin' Rewards. Jaguars run on Dunkin'. Limit 1 per member per Monday. Additional charges and terms may apply. Exclusions may apply. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, and thanks to Kai Stevens joining us in studio. Jaguars Happy Hour on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. The Jaguars and the Steelers coming up in Week 8. It's time for the injury report presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars PR department has just announced the injury report for Thursday for both teams. And today for the Jaguars, it is the exact same injury report, statuses. Which one? It's statuses, I think, officially. But
I would just say that it's the exact same as it was yesterday.
Yeah, that. So Tyson Campbell, the hamstring issue, limited both days. Andre Sisco, hamstring injury, limited both days. Devon Hamilton, back issue, full both days, yesterday and today. Zay Jones has not practiced this week. That doesn't sound good for this week with a knee injury. Greg Jr., hamstring injury, full both days. Cornerback, that's good news. Trevor Lawrence, knee issue, limited both days. Walker Little, knee issue, limited both days. Brandon Sheriff, ankle issue, limited both days.
Okay, 52 on the roster right now because of the release of Rourke.
Nathan Rourke was released and then signed back to the practice squad.
Okay, so now you have a roster spot. So if you wanted to activate either Greg Jr. or Devon Hamilton, which both of their windows have been opened, which can go 21 days, which Devon, well, at the end of this week will be down to 7. Greg Jr. was opened this week, right? So
I think so, yeah.
Or not last week, though,
No,
right? Yeah, this week.
week.
So maybe one of those guys could be brought up to the active roster for a game day. It'll be interesting to see as well, just because, as we said a little bit earlier, typically teams would be a little bit more cautious knowing that you've got the bye week to get one more week of healing for an injured player.
You want the Steelers while we're at it?
The what?
Injury report?
Yeah. What do they got?
Okay.
First of all, the 21-day window was open for
Hayward.
Cam Hayward.
Groin issue, limited today.
He had groin surgery, by the way.
Yes. More than an issue. Yeah. It was surgery. Yeah.
Surgery.
Yeah. That's more than just an issue.
That's not good.
That's bad. Right.
But it was, you said week 1 was the injury, right?
I think. I don't know that.
Well, he was active for the first game of the year, and he's been active since, so it had to happen in the first game.
Either way, he's limited today. Okay, Anthony McFarland Jr., a running back, knee injury, full both days. Cornerback Levi Wallace, foot injury, did not practice Wednesday, limited today.
Yeah, and by the way, because he didn't play a lot, Joey Porter played a ton.
Joey Porter was not on the report at all yesterday, and now limited today with a calf issue.
Ooh.
Wide receiver Deontay Johnson, not on the report yesterday, but did not practice today with a hamstring injury.
Ooh, that's a big one now.
Yeah. Keep an eye on that one.
That one is something to watch, along with the Porter thing and also with Levi Wallace, because you're talking about starting corners there.
Yes. Linebacker Cole Holcomb, ankle injury, full both days.
Yeah.
Nate Herbig, offensive lineman, illness, did not practice yesterday, full today. He should be fine moving ahead. So
they got 2 sets of brothers on this football team, by the way.
How about that, right?
Isn't that crazy?
Haywards and the Herbigs.
Yeah, Haywards and Herbigs.
Wow.
That's a tongue twister.
Certainly is. There you have it. The injury report is in. Tailgate with Tony coming up Sunday, November 19th, ahead of the Titans-Jaguars matchup. Baselli and Jaguars Legends, 2 different levels of all-inclusive tickets benefiting the Baselli Foundation. Visit BaselliFoundation.com for more. And if you want $50 off your admission price, use the promo code TONY50, TONY50. Tell them we sent you, too. Doug Pederson Show coming up. We'll hear from the head coach in studio logs, and coming off the mini bye week, we'll also hear from Charles Davis, CBS Sports. He's the analyst this week.
Love Charles.
Ian Eagle on the call of the Jaguars and Steelers matchup. So, hey.
Ian Eagle, by the way, just a little thing. I've known him since like 1989.
Oh, New York? Yeah. That's
right. He was working at WFAN.
Yeah, the radio station.
Radio station in New York at the time, and met him years ago, and he's done an amazing job in broadcasting, even back then, even till now. He does a tremendous job. And Charles Davis, I'm a huge Charles Davis fan. Great guy, and does a really good job of getting his messages out to the viewers in television.
We'll hear from Charles coming up in about 30 minutes or so. What do you want to hear from Doug Pederson? A 5-2 record, maybe 6-2 after a win. It would be 6-2 in a bye week. Everything's kind of turning up right.
Well,
right now.
One of the things I want to talk to him about is his weather.
I know you're a weather nerd.
Well, I mean, look, weather conditions could be an issue up in Pittsburgh. Right now the forecast is not exactly looking good. Also want to talk about how do you contend with a guy from a game plan standpoint like TJ Watt.
Absolutely.
And also we'll ask him, I'm sure, about Trevor's knee, how that is going.
It seems to be a storyline.
Yeah, well, you think? I mean, starting quarterback, a knee. Yeah, it probably would be a storyline. But no, it's I wish we could have 2 hours with him because he does a great job.
Yeah, and but we will pick his brain coming up about this matchup. Jaguars-Steelers. The first time the Jags have been to Pittsburgh since the AFC divisional playoff game after the 2017 season. That's the Jaguars' last trip to Pittsburgh. That turned out well, of course. Been a while. Only a handful of players left from that team, by the way. Cam Robinson, let's see, Tyler Shatley, Smoot was on that team, I believe. Young
Not
guys.
a whole lot.
That's about it. Everybody else is. Cam Robinson told me this week those are the two of the most favorite games he's played in the NFL, the 2 Steeler games in 2017.
Well, and a big reason for that, again, I'm going to go back to what Trevor said, and he talked about the aura of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you're talking one of the oldest franchises in the National Football League. I think the Steelers franchise is like 90 some odd years old now, or 90 years old, which is it's like the 7th oldest franchise, I think, is what I said. It's impressive. So this is going to be a cool game and a great environment. It always is in Pittsburgh.
Always is. Certainly better when the Jaguars get a win up there, which they've done a lot of in the last 20 years or so. We'll try to do it again this week. That'll do it for Jaguars Happy Hour. Up next, it's Jaguars Radio Network coverage, the Doug Pederson Show. We'll hear from the head coach in studio. Our thanks to Kai Stevens. Our thanks to Joe Fortunato and Brent Reber. For our entire crew and Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Happy Hour.
Welcome to the Doug Pederson Show. Brought to you by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Doug Pederson Show starts right now.
And welcome in. It is the Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman and head coach Doug Pederson. Fresh off the mini bye, week 8 coming up in Pittsburgh, then the full bye week after that. And well, Coach, there's a balance, right, of getting guys ready off the mini bye to play this week against Pittsburgh, but there's a lot of football ahead and important stretch run games after the bye week as well. So the balance of getting guys back and then resting guys for the stretch run here.
Yeah, and on top of that, the importance of playing AFC opponents, and Pittsburgh is one of those teams, and they're 4-2. We're 5-2, so. When you look at the end of the year seedings and things like that, these become important games. And but it was good to get the bye. We mini bye to get some guys healthy. Going into this week, may not have everybody back, but we'll get some bodies and then get the full bye, and hopefully after that we should be back to full strength. Heading into the last 8 games or so.
I was looking at the records. You guys have obviously won 4 games in a row. Pittsburgh has won 4 out of the last 5. The last time these two teams met with winning records was back in 2007, which was Tomlin's first year. And you were a high school coach at Calvary Baptist High School in West by God, Virginia.
Louisiana.
Is it Louisiana?
Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana. Yeah,
wow.
2007. I had just retired in 04, took the job in 05. 08 was my last year there, so that's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago.
Were
you guys any good, by the way?
We were actually pretty good. My last 2 years, we made it to the state semifinals. My last 2 years, just couldn't get over the hump. So the one thing that eluded me, even when I played high school ball, was a state championship. So I got a 1AA national championship in college, and I got obviously a Super Bowl trophy. The high school one just eluded me, so maybe after retirement I'll go back to high school.
So, all right, one constant in Pittsburgh obviously has been over the years head coaching. It's 3 head coaches in the last 50 years. Mike Tomlin has been there now seemingly forever. What are some constants of Mike Tomlin football teams?
I think that's the reason why this organization and franchises had the stability and sustainability and the success that they've had over the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they've obviously selected great head coaches, and Mike is one of those guys. He's a players type coach, but he's firm with them. He demands excellence and greatness from them, and the guys respond. And he's always had a good coaching staff, whether it's offensively or defensively, and they draft well. They've had a quarterback usually, on this football team. So, there's a lot of things that they do well. And it's been real impressive for me as a head coach to really watch a guy like Coach Tomlin and how he operates and the success he's had there in Pittsburgh.
Now you say they had a quarterback, okay, Ben Roethlisberger forever, okay. Kenny Pickett's a quarterback now. He's a young player, and young players typically have growing pains. He's in year 2. What does he look like?
He's doing some really good things. He's getting a nice little relationship there with George Pickens, number 14, and really, leaning on the run game a little bit. But you're seeing maturity. You're seeing, some things. He is still going to maybe put the ball in harm's way at times. But you're starting to see the growth in this quarterback, and that's I think for them, that's what they want to see, right? And they want to see each week just him taking another step in that direction. And I liked him coming out of college. Still like him as a quarterback. I think he moves well. He does some things, outside. I think he throws a deep ball really well. He sees the field. That's the one thing too, is he's seeing the field a little bit better this year, and the guys around him are playing extremely hard.
And the one part about his game that's been really good has been the end of games. Pittsburgh has had to climb back late in ball games, and his performance has been able to elevate. That's the part that I think has been the most impressive.
It really has. And in this team, I think the last 5 consecutive, when they've been in one-score games, they've either come back and won those games and have won those games. And so, and he's led those comebacks or at least got them in position to win those games. And, that's impressive. His QB rating in the fourth quarter is off the charts, completing over 70% of his throws in the fourth quarter. And again, that's a sign of a guy that's heading in the right direction, a guy that they can put the offense on his shoulders and say, hey, go win the football game. And he's done that.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us on the Doug Pederson Show. Let's flip it around now, Coach, to the Jaguars offense and quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Of course, Thursday night in the Superdome, battled through the left knee injury, wore the brace, was the leading rusher in the game somehow. Got the job done again, though, when it mattered on offense. And just the mindset of the quarterback to play through an injury like that, and then what is the latest with Trevor in the left knee this week?
Yeah, the mindset is how well can he block out the subtle pain, and he did that extremely well, and it didn't bother him. And then he had the couple days off there, and he's feeling better, and he's still been wearing the brace in practice and just protecting that knee a little bit, but he's getting stronger and healthier every day. And I'll say this: I credit the offensive line for keeping him upright in New Orleans. And other than him scrambling and getting hit that way, when he was in the pocket, he was able to stay clean. And we've got to do that again this week, because this is a really good front. They got 2 of the top edge pressures probably that we'll see all season for a combo of guys, and Highsmith and Watt, and quite frankly, the strength of this defense is the front. So our offensive line has their work cut out for them, but Trevor's in a good place, and we've got to make sure we do the right thing, get the ball out of his hand, and lean on the run game if the weather's going to be bad.
Yeah, you talk about those edge guys, Watt and Highsmith, and I would put Herbig into that category, a rookie that they've got that's been giving them some pretty good quality snaps. And that defense that Pittsburgh has, much like yours, opportunistic, doing a good job taking that ball away.
Exactly right. Watt, I think, is at 8 sacks, and our Josh is at 7. And there's a nice little battle going on right there. But you're absolutely right. Both defenses are opportunistic. They've done. Watt had the interception to start the third quarter last week in L.A., and they score. First play of the Cleveland game, way back week 1, they had the tip pass for a pick 6. I mean, it's just a defense that's creating takeaways and creating short field, and our defense is doing the same thing. So I think whoever hangs on to the football and wins the turnover battle could potentially win this football game.
Yeah, watching T.J. Watt in that game against the Rams that you're referring to, where he had the interceptions, the amount of attention that Sean McVay paid T.J. Watt was like, wow. I mean, you got to pay that respect, right? I mean, he's a great player, and putting 2 or 3 or sometimes maybe 6 hands on a guy, sometimes you got to do it, right?
You have to, and flip it the other way. Pittsburgh, gave Aaron Donald a lot of respect on the other side of the ball, 2 great defensive players. So, you have to maybe spend some resources knowing where number 90 is going to line up, but at the same time, as you mentioned, they've got 2 other guys that can rush the passer as well. So it's going to take a full effort. Our backs have to be on point. Tight ends got to be on point, and we're going to have to help our quarterback get the ball out of his hand.
Coach, you talked about the weather in Pittsburgh. It's getting that time of year. It's Halloween weekend coming up, and we know how it can get later in the year in Pittsburgh. That playing surface there, they have college games there as well. There's a lot that can happen. What do you expect with the weather this week, and how can that change really both teams' plans?
Yeah, I mean, we were expecting rain. Obviously, it's in the 80 percentile right now as far as rain goes, but temperatures are going to be mild. They'll be in the probably mid 60s, and listen, we can't worry about that. We got to kind of block that out. We had a rain game last year, and we didn't do so well. We didn't take care of the football, and we need to learn from that obviously this year, and do a better job of securing the football. But hopefully we can create some takeaways, defensively, and create some short fields for our offense.
Yeah, earlier in the week you talked about improving, taking care of the football as an offense. As a head coach, you're always looking for improvement in all facets of the game. what are some of the things besides protecting the football that you want to see your team improve on? Because right now they're doing a really good job with the takeaways. The penalties are low, but what do you want to see better?
You know, I think we're still having those lulls in the football game, right? And maybe it's middle of the second quarter or second half where offensively and defensively, you know, we're just not getting off the field or sustaining drives offensively. And there's those lulls in there. And so we've got to execute a little bit better there. And especially if our defense is on the field for 8 or 9, 10 plays, you know, we got to make sure that we can kind of counteract that. And whether you score or not, it's a matter of just keeping our defense fresh. But those moments there, we've got to execute better in those situations, and I want to see that improve. I also want to see our special teams like punt return. I want to see Ags get going a little bit and holding up in some block situations. We had the one miscue against the Saints. It was loud. Missed the communication there. So it's going to be loud again in Pittsburgh, and so we got to have great communication there. But get Ags going, special teams wise, and try to create some short fields.
Your punter can throw too. Apparently, we saw that.
Yeah, that was a
great adjustment.
That was interesting. That was an interesting play, and didn't quite. It was executed great, but it wasn't the play we had actually drawn up. So credit the guys for making it work.
It worked out. A first down for sure. What would 6-2 do for the Jaguars coming out of the bye week with a win this week if they could get that done?
It still tells me that we haven't done anything. We're heading in the right direction. Obviously, 6-2 would be nice, but again, this is we're playing a great team. I think this team is much like us. You're kind of looking at yourself in the mirror, quite honestly, but it'd give us a lot of confidence going into the back half of the season and going into the bye with that good feeling. But like I said, there's a lot of football ahead of us, and we've got to make sure that we stay kind of grounded, kind of focused, and 1 week at a time.
Coach, great stuff. Good luck to you. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us. In 20 minutes, Charles Davis of CBS Sports with us. This is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Jaguars fans, Everbank is building its future on the partnership and the performance you know and trust. Take advantage of high-yield savings solutions with money market, online savings, CDs, and more. Visit everbank.com/Jaguars today for your financial advantage. Everbank, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Cancer patients across the Southeast make Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center in Jacksonville their first choice for treatment. Dr. Jonathan Melquist explains why.
We have so many resources that can help a patient from the very onset, and we just have a degree of unity and cohesive care that is hard to match. It's especially with the tougher cancers that we really excel.
Appointments available now. Call 844-632-2278.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show, presented by Fresh from Florida, from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center, downtown Jacksonville. The Jaguars and the Steelers coming up. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to head coach Doug Pederson, joining us in the opening segment each and every week. It is his show, the Doug Pederson Show, Week 8. The Jaguars at 5-2. They've won 4 consecutive games, coming off the mini bye week. Headed to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers, who are 4-2. And, there's a lot of things that stand out from what Coach Pederson just talked about, but let's start on defense for both sides. I mean, both of these defenses take the ball away well, especially the Jaguars, number 1 in the NFL, 16 takeaways, but the Steelers are no slouch either.
No, they've got 12, and I think that's like 4th in the National Football League or 5th, somewhere in that range. I mean, it's a great number, and that's one of the reasons why that they have been winning football games. I mean, if you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, their offense is still a major work in progress with a young quarterback, much like the Jaguars were in the first half of the season last year with a second-year quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. And if you look at it from a number standpoint, the bottom line is that you can look at one statistic to determine outcomes of games, and that's the turnover differential in every game as the single most determining factor of winning and losing in the National Football League. The Pittsburgh Steelers have lost 2 games, and in both of those games, they lost the turnover battle, -1. In the games that they have won the turnover battle in every one of those games as well. So much like Doug talked about, and the question I asked him about protecting the football and looking for improvement, this is going to be ultra important this week against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that has been living off of the takeaway to get the wins. The Jaguars have been able to win without having won the turnover battle all the time, much like they did this past game against the Saints, where they were actually -1 in turnover differential, I believe. So they've got to do a good job, especially if the weather conditions are going to be what they could be.
Jaguars have 10 giveaways this year, 7 of those fumbles this season.
Yeah, I need to make that number better, and that's one of the things that Doug had talked about earlier in the year. And much like the emphasis that you put on it from a defensive standpoint about getting them, it's the same thing you put the emphasis on it on an offensive side. It's just to make the emphasis there to make sure that they're protecting the football and everything like that. I'm sure that if you think about it, when's the last time this Jaguars team played in an inclement weather game?
I mean, it'd have to be
What's the game that comes to mind?
It had to be the Eagles game last year.
The Eagles game last year.
That's what Doug just said. So, I mean, I don't remember any other one that bad.
And that's the game, so
sloppy.
You want to make sure you protect the ball, especially if the conditions are what they could be.
I don't remember one like that late in the year last year. Some cold games,
I
but
don't think so. Yeah, I think that really the only game that had really kind of iffy weather conditions.
Yeah.
And it looks like it could be that way in Pittsburgh, with rain put in the 80 to 90% range for kickoff throughout the day on Sunday.
You know what? That's for both teams, though. I mean, it's not just the Jaguars having to deal with it.
I believe the Jaguars have an advantage in bad weather this week.
Why is that?
Well, first of all, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not running the ball very well. Okay, they're ranked very low in that category. They're throwing the ball at a much higher percentage than they are running the ball, which is kind of anti-Pittsburgh Steelers.
Kind of strange, yeah.
And defensively, the calling card of the Pittsburgh Steelers has always been dominant against the run. Steel curtain, right? Well, I'm not saying that they can't be good, because they can be good in any particular game, but right now their ranking against the run is not great. I mean, it's like, bottom 4 teams in the National Football League. So, I mean, right now I would say, and I think the Jaguars run the ball way better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So and the Jaguars' run defense is stifling.
Yes.
So in inclement weather, you'd like to run the ball, protect the ball. I think the advantage would go to the Jaguars.
Jags fans want customized Jaguars furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair furniture for fans. And we will get into this Jaguars defense and the matchup against the Steelers offense and what they have to offer for the Steelers. A lot of new personnel over the last couple of years. A little different world now in Pittsburgh. We'll get to that coming up. This is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag the Fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing MyGate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the MyGate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguars regular season at Firehouse Subs. Get 2 medium subs for just $10 after any game when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Sign up at firehousesubs.com/field goals for Firehouse for offer details and to automatically receive this offer when you use your Firehouse Subs rewards account. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available on the Firehouse Subs app and online ordering. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Jaguars Steelers coming up Sunday at the Confluence in Pittsburgh. Acrisure Stadium.
It's not called Heinz Field anymore?
No, it's Acrisure Stadium. Heinz backed out, I guess.
Three Rivers?
No. Well, the Three Rivers converged at
Yeah,
the Confluence.
that's right. Yeah. It's a little different.
Can you name the rivers?
No, I cannot.
No?
All I know is that there's three.
Monongahela.
Which comes together to join.
Allegheny.
Okay, which forms the
Ohio.
Exactly. So it's really not three rivers.
Well, those are literally three rivers.
It's two that are making one.
Well, if it was three rivers, like it would just make a big lake. If they were all flowing to the same place, right?
Okay.
I mean, I was a geography minor, okay? It's been a long time.
At Alabama.
Yeah, that should tell you something about it. Hey, Jaguars defense. I mean, they've really played well this year overall. They have kept this team in some of these games and in big moments made plays that we talked about, the takeaways, yes. They're stopping the run, yes. What's the matchup with the Steelers offense? Let's start in the trenches because we're used to the Steelers pounding the ball, big offensive line, guys that can really move it. What's up on the offensive line in Pittsburgh?
They're not at the standard that they had for a number of years where they were pretty good. I think it's an offensive line that's still trying to be built, and they put some draft capital into that this past year with Spencer Anderson, a 7th-round pick, and then the first-round pick tackle Broderick Jones from Georgia, who has I think he's got one start this year, but they have been keeping him as a backup so far. But it's an okay group. The one thing I think that look, if you have been listening and following the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, the Pittsburgh Steelers fans are not enthralled with the offensive coordinator. I mean, they're just not. I mean, Matt Canada has been under a lot of duress, a lot of criticism all year long, and for a lot of different reasons, the Pittsburgh Steelers, under his guidance, haven't really had a dynamic offense. And part of that, I think, is personnel, and part of that is, look, there's no more Ben Roethlisberger and Hines Ward and all these other great players. It's kind of an offense in transition. But nonetheless, he's been receiving a lot of criticism. The offensive line is, like I said, is not great. The running back, Najee Harris, I liked him coming out.
Yeah.
But, JP, who would you rather have, Najee Harris or ETN?
Well, right now, ETN's playing much better. Yes.
He's got home run speed.
Absolutely.
Okay, Harris does not.
Harris is what, 6'1", 240?
He's a big guy.
Yeah,
he's a big, kind of physical back.
And when he came out, he was that type. If he's in space, he can jump over you or go around or over you. Like there was all that coming out of college.
But I think the one thing that's always was a question on him was his speed. There was never a debate on ETN's speed. I mean, ETN, everybody knew that ETN had the speed to go the distance every time he touches the ball.
Yep.
Harris doesn't have that. When you watch him, he's physical, but he doesn't scare me. He doesn't make me hold my breath. I don't see a guy that can hit a crease like Travis can and then all of a sudden be 60 yards down the field dancing in the end zone. I don't see that out of Najee Harris. Their tight end, again, as Freiermuth has been injured, so that takes away from it. So I don't worry about the Pittsburgh Steelers running game against this Jaguars defense. I feel very confident in that matchup. The matchup that I worry about is those two wide receivers, Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. Those are the guys that, with the Jaguars cornerback situation, with Tyson Campbell still a question mark, could he play, could he not play? Still got a young player in Monteric Brown out there. How do they handle that?
Najee Harris, 24th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft to the Steelers, 25th overall pick to the Jaguars, Travis Etienne Jr.
You think that Travis Etienne might have made a note of that? Steelers passed me up for Najee Harris. Note to self. When playing Steelers, show them what they are missing! Exclamation point.
Back in a moment, we'll flip it around. Jaguars offense. What can they get done against the Steelers group, especially T.J. Watt at outside linebacker? And a little bit later, about 10 minutes away from Charles Davis of CBS Sports, this is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gate's frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguar sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguar sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguar sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. Our thanks to the Jaguars head coach in studio with us in the opening segment tonight. We're on at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network each and every Thursday, at least when there's a game. We will not have one next week. It's the bye week next week.
Fantastic.
How about that?
I'm looking forward to it.
I have a feeling you'll be in a deer stand
I
somewhere.
might be. I will be enjoying the great outdoors somewhere.
I think so. Hey, the Jaguars offense. Trevor Lawrence playing through the knee issue. He still has the brace on the left knee. He said he's going to wear it for a little while.
Which I think is smart, by the way. Just a quick comment on that. a right-handed quarterback's left knee is typically the one that's exposed the most. So and I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea for him to always wear a knee brace on that left knee going forward, just to help add protection to that leg that when you are transferring your weight, okay, in a throwing motion to that front leg, that's the one that's susceptible to getting hit a lot of times. And so if you go back and you look at some of the quarterbacks in the past, a lot of them have worn a knee brace to help protect that forward leg.
That's one item to keep an eye on, of course. Travis Etienne has 3 straight games with 2 rushing touchdowns. First Jaguar to ever do that. And if he does it again, I think the last player to do it in 4 straight games was LaDainian Tomlinson a number of years ago.
He's pretty good, by the way.
Yeah. So Etienne is reaching some milestones and playing really well overall.
Who do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers would like to redraft?
Well, we've gone through that.
I know. Just wanted to bring it up again because you're mentioning numbers. Just saying.
Zay Jones has not practiced this week.
That's not a good trend.
So the story kind of last week was, where's Calvin Ridley? What's up with Calvin Ridley? How did they cover Ridley last week?
1 catch.
And is that something they can grow out of and continue to build upon?
Well, he had 1 catch, okay, and if you look at the numbers, Kirk had the 6 touches for 90, Evan Ingram 5 for 45. Tim Jones even had more than Calvin Ridley. He had 2 catches for 17 yards. But I will say that the Saints were given plenty of attention to Calvin Ridley. And so some of the other guys were able to benefit from that attention. They were doubling him a little bit. And that's going to happen. I mean, when you've got a top receiver, teams are going to look at trying to find a way to limit his effectiveness. And that's what teams are doing. Are they looking at doubling Zay Jones when he's out there? Not necessarily. Are they looking at doubling Evan Ingram? No, not necessarily. But they're playing some bracket stuff on Calvin. They're playing some occasional bracket stuff on Christian Kirk as well. And that's just part of it. Now, I think part of it also is that the more that Calvin Ridley is in this offense and the more opportunities he gets to continue to build the relationship with Trevor, the better that's going to get. And this week, who knows? I mean, just like last year, Kirk would have a big game, and then Zay would have a big game, and then Evan would have a big game. You know what? And maybe this week it's going to be Calvin's turn. So I mean, you just don't know, and that's the beauty, I think, of a Press Taylor, Doug Pederson offense, is that they don't have to necessarily depend on one guy to get the production. They depend on the system to dictate which guy is going to get the production, and that's sometimes the best system to have is one that allows the quarterback to throw the ball to the open guy instead of going, okay, there's my guy, and I got to force it to him.
It's the Doug Pederson Show. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, and Jeff, we're going to have you design the offensive plan for T.J. Watt on the other side. How do you handle one of the best defenders in the National Football League this week?
You want to know?
I do want to know. That's why I asked.
Okay, number 1, Etienne. Okay, number 4, Tank Bigsby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and number 25, Dearness Johnson. Okay, those have been 3 running backs that have been active lately. Okay, Jermichael Hasty has been a hot minute.
Yep.
Okay, when they are in the backfield on their way out, okay, because Anton Harrison is going to get the primary assignment of blocking 90. They've got to put a helmet right in the rib cage of 90. Okay, the tight end's got to chip him on the way out. You've got to put some attention on him. Okay, and I mean, when you put attention on him, make him feel it so that the next time when he sees a flash of white or teal, whichever jersey we're wearing, I haven't seen that yet, okay, whatever color that is going to be, that the first thing that he's thinking about is that I'm going to get a helmet in my ribs again.
White jerseys, teal pants.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I want him to think that.
Yeah.
And so you try to establish that early by cutting him, by putting a running back into his rib cage, which is called a chip. And in some cases it's called a chunk, which means that you're not just trying to get a chip, you're trying to get a chunk of him on the way out. Okay? I think you've got to do that.
Be something to watch for sure because he can wreck a game for you.
The other guy's pretty good too now, Highsmith.
Yeah. So which side do you focus on? Watt, or you focus on the other side?
Well, if you're chunking on one side, you're sliding to the other side. Okay, so that helps Cam a little bit.
Okay.
But Highsmith is a good football player too. I mean, the guy had 14.5 sacks last year. He's good, and it's interesting too. Like I said earlier. They've been flopping the linebackers actually while the offense is getting lined up so that it's hard for the offense to get a bead on where 90 is going to be at. And they did that against the Rams. Will that continue this week against the Jaguars? I don't know. But I will say that the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm sure, went and watched the film of the Kansas City Chiefs game and saw that they didn't provide any help to Anton Harrison when Chris Jones was lined up out there. And I'm sure that they're going to sit there and go, oh, we hope we get that.
You know what helps? Running the football, too.
Well, always.
Don't let those guys get geared up.
Always. I mean, it's a lot better and a lot easier to protect the passer when it's 3rd and 2 or 3 as opposed to 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 11. And that obviously plays a big part in it. And consistency on offense, and not having negative plays, not having mistakes, penalties or whatever, which, by the way, the Jaguars have been doing a great job with the penalty situation. I think they're the number 1 team in the league at penalties per game with the fewest, which is awesome.
They're like 3rd in the league in total penalties, fewest penalties. Like they're really, really strong.
Yeah, but per
Steelers
game,
are too, by the way. Steelers have not been penalized much.
Yeah, I wrote it down because the fewest penalties in the National Football League per game, the Jaguars, number 1.
Good.
Because some teams have had some bye weeks, et cetera. So that's a great number. And the fewest yards per game. The average per game is 4.7. The yards on the penalties, 36 yards per game. That's how you play winning football.
We'll return in a moment, and Charles Davis, analyst for CBS Sports, has the call this week of the Jaguars-Steelers matchup. We'll hear from him next. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag, the fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gate's frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick with you. More Jeff Lageman coming up shortly. Charles Davis is the analyst for CBS Sports this week, working with Ian Eagle. Caught up with Davis earlier in the week and plenty to discuss about the Jaguars in 2023, including quarterback Trevor Lawrence's performance on one good knee last Thursday night.
Quarterbacks, just by being quarterbacks, sometimes get that, oh, how tough are they type of a deal. I'm old enough to remember when quarterbacks were a lot tougher than people ever gave them credit for, because you and I both know if we punch up the NFL films on YouTube or whatever right now and watch what a quarterback went through getting hit in the pocket in the 1980s and the 90s versus now, and there were no flags, a referee would come by and go, you okay? You getting up? That was it. I mean, you darn near took a 2x4 and hit those guys. And back then, those quarterbacks were of a certain size, right? Of a certain dimension. Think about those quarterbacks of those days: Marino, Jim Kelly, Boomer Esiason, Phil Simms, Jim McMahon. Now, McMahon, he took a lot of hits, but he would play through when he could, but he ended up missing it. A lot of those guys didn't miss games. They dragged themselves back. Steve McNair's toughness is legendary. Now, what those hits are now flags, suspensions, fines, all of those things. So it's a little bit different as we're going. Trevor Lawrence looks like an old school quarterback in dimensions. He looks like a new school quarterback when the hair flows out of the helmet and he takes his helmet off and everybody goes, "My God, look at him." He looks like your next door pretty guy. But his ability to play through things and toughness, what he did Thursday night in New Orleans, that's where all the memes of "that's my quarterback" actually apply in a positive manner. Because now you can rally around that quarterback. Your team will rally around you. Your defense will go, "Look at our quarterback. We can play for him." Not just your offense. The rest of the team just goes, "My goodness, we got a tough guy quarterback." And JP, you've been around this league. Any team that has a tough guy quarterback is well ahead of the game because the rest of the team will buy in on you now.
Charles Davis with us, CBS Sports. This offense really hasn't had its full arsenal a lot this season. Zay Jones has missed 4 games, and he's had to come out of 2 others with his knee issue, so he's really only finished 1 game this year. When he's out there, that kind of changes the whole coverage idea for defenses, and then the running game can get involved. Travis Etienne stepped in and scored 2 touchdowns in now 3 straight games, the first Jaguar to ever do that. But when they're at full strength, and you've seen them this year, what can they be? And I don't think they've touched that ultimate Jaguar offense production that they're hoping for this year.
No, I think that they can be the type of team that has answers for whatever you throw at them. Okay, you want to pressure Trevor Lawrence? I think he handles blitz as well and will step up in the pressure and can get rid of it quickly to people, right? He has people to do that. You want to give him time and drop back? He'll survey the field and have the patience and take the check downs when necessary to keep it going. What's the expression all the quarterbacks use? You never go broke taking a profit, right? Okay, so I can speak a little quarterback myself, all right? The running game with ETN, I think the offensive line is starting to really develop their own identity, because last time we saw you, JP, you're getting ready for a game with Kansas City, and you had offensive linemen who were really dinged up, and we weren't sure they could go. Every one of them went in that game. So that tells me something about that offensive line. Now you got Cam Robinson back. Didn't have him last time we saw you. I'm not sure about Walker Little and his ability to play left guard yet. We shall see. But Tyler Shatley, he's like, "Hey, anytime you want me to play, I'm here for it." Fortner, Sheriff, and I really think Antoine Harrison's coming along nicely as a rookie at right tackle. I think they're starting to take on some tough guy, vibes of their own. But I do think that they have the mobility to move in the run game when you want them to. They will take care of their quarterback. As I said before, whatever you want to throw at them, I feel like this offense is starting to develop the idea that we've got answers for it. You want to let us run it, we'll run it. You want to let us throw it, we'll throw it. Whatever fashion that may be.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have won 2 in a row now. Are they back? Are they on track? Are they were a little underachieving early in the season. What are they now?
I think back is too strong. Are they on better course? Absolutely. Their issue to me is nothing that's new, nothing that I'm going to identify that you haven't either read, seen, heard. Their inability to start faster on offense is the puzzler for them. Kenny Pickett does a wonderful job as their quarterback down the stretch, and he's won some big games in the fourth quarter, going back to Baltimore on a Sunday night as a rookie, going back to Baltimore this year earlier this season, going back last week to Los Angeles and taking on the Rams on the road. I think it's the first time they won out on the West Coast in 10 tries or something like that. But you can't live like that. That is not a 17-game winning formula. Tim Tebow did that well for the Broncos and went to the playoffs, even threw a touchdown pass to Bebe, right? to Demaryius Thomas on a beautiful throw against Pittsburgh in the playoffs. But is that sustainable where your defense has to hang in there every week? You can be 5 of 17 going into the fourth quarter and snap it together and win. It is not sustainable. Kenny Pickett knows it. Pittsburgh knows it. I think they asked Mike Tomlin about, hey, do you ever dream about him in consistency? He said every day. But he loves Kenny Pickett. He knows that he can get there. Getting Deontay Johnson back at receiver will help them do that. But they've got to find a way to play better earlier and take some of the pressure off of their defense, which continues to be what Pittsburgh always has, an excellent defense.
It's Charles Davis of CBS Sports. He'll have the call as the analyst on Sunday in Pittsburgh. The full conversation available coming up this weekend on the official Jaguars podcast network and Jaguars.com. We'll return with sound from George Pickens in the locker room, throwing shade to the Jags defense. Hot off the presses.
Bulletin board.
It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguar sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguar sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguar sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Hey Jags fans, Everbank is driven by performance, strength, and security. Start building your legacy today with Everbank's Yield Pledge accounts, all of which deliver a yield in the top 5% of competitive accounts nationwide. Visit everbank.com/Jaguars for your earned advantage. Everbank, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
There's lots to love from Apple right now at Verizon. Get the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium and more to love from Apple on us with select phone trade-in and select unlimited plans. There's no better place to get what you love from Apple than at Verizon. And there's no better time than right now. All that with the network you can really rely on. It's your Verizon. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on select 5G unlimited plans required. Less up to $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Trade-in conditions apply. One offer per eligible Verizon line. Additional terms apply.
Personal connection. George, why has Jacksonville been susceptible for the pass? I mean, I think they have one of the worst pass defense, especially the last 3 games. I think they're last.
Yeah, I think their D-line, they depend on their D-line a lot. With their team, having a lot of first-round guys, on that D-line, that's what they depend on a lot. And they kind of, hope, you know what I mean? Hope the guys hold up long enough, hope. So it's kind of a hope defense for sure.
All right, George Pickens, the Steelers wide receiver in the locker room today. That courtesy of Brian Batko of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette on X earlier. Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by Fresh from Florida. Well, the Jaguars do have the 31st ranked passing defense by yardage per game in the NFL. 17th in yards per play. But that's not quite, I don't think what they need the Jaguars defense to have on their bulletin board downstairs here at the Miller Electric Center right now. Any kind of chip on those guys' shoulders, look out. Right?
That's great. I mean, look, it's awesome.
A hope defense. What do you think he means?
I love it. I mean, that's exactly what you want to have if you're wearing the teal. Give me extra motivation. You're already motivated. But okay, all right, their best player right now, which is him. He's averaging over 18 yards a catch. He's a second-year receiver out of Georgia that's going to be super good when the quarterback even gets better. But for him to say that is extra motivation for every Jaguar defender. Every Jaguar player is going to be talking smack to him now when he starts getting beat up or when he goes across the middle and his arms don't quite extend out like they should.
A hope defense. I've never heard that term before. It's interesting.
I've never heard that term either, but I can guarantee you one thing. There's a lot of creative minds that play on this Jaguars defense, and they will find a way to use the word hope and some kind of dig at him as they're beating him up.
I like that. It's a little salty here.
Heck yeah, bring it on, man. You want to talk a little smack before the game about hope? Okay, come on. I hope you can make it through the game.
Wow. Okay.
I hope you don't get smashed when you go across the middle. You know, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. If I seriously, that's like awesome.
Oh, the Jaguars are a hope defense.
Awesome.
I hope things happen. They hope they hold up.
I hope Cisco's got something for him.
I hope he does.
I hope Rayshon's got something for him.
I'm sure he probably will, knowing Ray.
I hope Darius has got a little something for him.
I think all of the above.
I hope Monteric's got a little buster for him. Buster gonna bust him up.
I hope to go in the locker room tomorrow and ask about it. How about that?
I think that they will give you the company line. We're just going to play hard. You know, we're not worrying about that. And then after the game, you'll get the truth.
Oh, yeah. That's how it works always.
After the game, you win, you'll get the truth.
I love it, though. It's like the old days, man, the old rivalry stuff.
That's what you call keeping receipts.
And Trevor Lawrence talked about that this week with a hashtag analyst thing that he tweeted out or put out on X, posted the other day.
Why not?
You know what? Yeah, he said, I do keep receipts.
Yeah.
Not as many as some others, but we remember some of this stuff. We read all this. We are all on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're keeping track.
All going right.
Don't come back in December when we're winning games.
Now, there's the old saying that you don't let the week leading up to the game give the opponent anything that is bulletin board worthy material. Okay, and George Pickens just violated that. He violated it. And it's very apparent that he doesn't know anything about the Jaguars defense because he's saying it's based on hope, like the front is the only thing that's good. Look, I'm here to tell you, okay, Mr. George Pickens, okay, and this is not my ranking, but there are quite a few Jaguar defensive backs that are considered Pro Bowl caliber worthy players right now. That's not hope. Okay, that's fact. Okay, Cisco, 3 interceptions, second in the National Football League. Darius Williams, number 3 rated corner by PFF. Number 3 rated corner by PFF. Tyson Campbell, when he's healthy, one of the best corners in the league. Okay, and one of the most physical safeties in Rayshon Jenkins.
Yep.
I hope you don't get into Rayshon's neighborhood. Number 2 is going to light him up.
Bootleggers, get ready. Luke Combs is bringing 2 nights of the Growing Up and Getting Old tour to Everbank Stadium May 3rd and 4th with different special guests each night. Tickets on sale now. For more info, visit everbankstadium.com. Our final thoughts and a preview of Jaguars All Access TV coming up next. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag, the fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Everyone wins when 2 great traditions team up. Yucatan Guacamole is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Our authentic guacamole recipe starts with hand-scooped avocados and ends up in your hands fresh and ready to enjoy. Grab some on game day at the Yucatan Cantina or Yucatan nacho carts around the stadium or at local retail stores. Sack your snack game with Yucatan Guacamole.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
There's lots to love from Apple right now at Verizon. Get the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium and more to love from Apple on us with select phone trade-in and select unlimited plans. There's no better place to get what you love from Apple than at Verizon. And there's no better time than right now. All that with the network you can really rely on. It's your Verizon. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on select 5G unlimited plans required. Less up to $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied for 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Trade-in conditions apply. One offer per eligible Verizon line. Additional terms apply.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. Final moments. The Jaguars and the Steelers coming up Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff time. We're on the air in Jacksonville on our flagship station, 1010XL and 92.5 FM with the Publix Tailgate Show. That's at 10 a.m. Then at 12 noon, it's Countdown to Kickoff here on the Jaguars Radio Network. We'll take you right up to the 102 toe meeting leather time at the Confluence. And, hey, it's a big ball game for this Jaguars team. Coming up tonight, big TV show here in Jacksonville. Jaguars All Access, Strings Sports Brewery in Springfield. Who you got?
I got Evan Ingram, Martineau, and Kai. Should be a good showing tonight. Jaguars on a roll, 4 games in a row. And looking forward to seeing all the fans turn out tonight and looking forward to feeling that energy.
Evan's really good, man. Really good at that stuff. And obviously is signed back with the Jags this season and extended, and a great addition to this organization. Last year played big, obviously career year, and he's a big piece of what they're doing right now, certainly.
He is, first of all, really good football player, which,
okay, priority number one.
Number
yes.
one,
Gotta
okay,
have
good
that.
football player.
Yeah.
And he is a really good fit for this offense. And from talking to multiple defensive coordinators this year, when they start talking about the Jaguars offense, he's one of the first things that comes up just because he presents a lot of matchup issues for defensive coordinators. Do you play him with a linebacker? Do you play him with a corner? Do you play him with a safety? And teams have tried all of the above, but yet Evans still continues to be a major factor. And what was also impressive is how unselfish he is as a player, a total team player.
Logs have a string music for me over there at Strings tonight.
Thank you.
That's Jeff Lageman. Thanks to our entire crew, Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, Andrea Curry, Nick Cortez, William Pease, Kate Waskey. Thanks to you for listening and watching. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.